Ambassador Bejli, first I would like to welcome you into Telma Television. It's a pleasure and honor to have you in our studios.
Thank you very much.
And I will immediately start with the tough questions. A few days ago, we had an incident on the Macedonian border with Kosovo, nearby village of Gošince.
Right.
The Ministry of Interior named that incident as a terroristic act.
Right.
So my question will be, is this the first sign that the Macedonian deep political crisis is deteriorating into a security crisis?
Well, let me first of all say on that incident, I think it's very important to say we're very thankful that no one was injured in it, and that people's reaction thus far to it, what I have seen, has been measured and calm, looking into what happened, and with all political parties and all actors, as best I can know, condemning the incident. So I think that's very good. I have spoken to the Macedonian authorities about that and assured them that we take this very seriously, and if there's something we can do as they look more into the details, we're certainly prepared to do that. I think it's also very important that the government of Macedonia be in touch with the government of Kosovo to work on border security. That's something we have helped facilitate in the past, and we're prepared to do that. In terms of what this will lead to, I'm not going to speculate about that, but I think it's important to note as I said, the calm with which I think people in general have reacted to this.
I was referring that as maybe some kind of escalation from the political crisis, but you're right, we are speculating if this will happen. But the political crisis in Macedonia is a reality, Ambassador. Until now, we didn't see huge involvement from Washington, from United States into Macedonian political crisis. But I have to say that last Friday I had a meeting with American ambassador in OSCE in Vienna.
Right.
And last week, Hoyti, senior official from the State Department, was here in Macedonia. Is that a sign that the American administration is now involved in helping the resolving of Macedonian political crisis?
I think we've always been very concerned about this. If you go back to our statements since these revelations began coming out, this concern is not new. I think our concern, though, has been growing. And let me give you the perspective from which we approach this. We are a friend of Macedonia. We admire the progress that this country has made in its 25 years of independence. And we want to see Macedonia join the EU, though we're not a member of that, and NATO as a prosperous, vibrant, multi-ethnic democracy. I think that, as we look at this crisis, I think that is a goal shared by almost every Macedonian I've met, regardless of party, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of religion. So that's how we approach this issue. We are concerned because this crisis has two aspects that are both concerning, both the revelations and how those came to be, the conversations, and then what they suggest in the content about issues of concern about the state of Macedonian institutions. As we said last week, we think it's very important to look into both sides of that issue.
Okay, maybe I should reformulate my question.
Yeah.
Can we expect direct involvement from some kind of American diplomat as a facilitator or negotiator? You know that on this stage,
Sure.
on this level in Brussels, the government party and the opposition party are having some kind of talk, some kind of dialogue has been going on with help or facilitation of the European Union. My question is, are the Americans going to help into that process? Because in the awkward negotiations before the framework agreement, we had European Union and American negotiators.
Well, I can assure you that the United States is in very close touch with the European Union in discussing our approaches to these issues. We're supportive of the effort that the European Union is making. We're willing, we are lending our voice, I think, as you saw, as you noted last week, not only in the European Union, but also in the OSCE. And so I think that's a measure of concern. What specifically we'll do? I think the key question, though, is at the end of the day, we international partners can help facilitate. We certainly are ready to do that. But it's going to be up to Macedonia's leaders and ultimately its peoples to come to resolve this crisis, to get out the facts, and also to make progress so that they can realize that future that, again, I said, I think unites this country.
European Union, because you mentioned that you are working closely with European Union, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, for the first time, named that this political crisis is real political crisis in Macedonia, and they issue a statement in which they call for the Macedonian authorities to respect the values of European Union, especially regarding rule of law and freedom of media. So, are you sharing that view with your European partners?
Yes, I mean these revelations raise serious allegations, and I say allegations. I can't verify everything independently myself, about questions of rule of law, about judicial independence, about election issues, and about government relations with the media. So I do think these are very important issues to look into. I think they have resonance in part because these are issues which in EU Commission reports, in reports out of the OSCE on media or on elections, and in our own human rights reports, these issues have come up. So I think it's very important that the government, as we have said, treat these allegations seriously as they as is being treated the allegations about concerning Mr. Zaev and how these recordings came to be.
So, as far as I'm understanding you, the political crisis has clearly two aspects. One is legal, that should go through judicial system, and the other one is political. We are talking now about the judicial. There has been ongoing investigation with the public prosecutor about the so-called affair of CAP. CAP is cup of state against Zoran Zaev. You are suggesting that the prosecution should also investigate the allegations from that taping, and that content can be relevant for judicial prosecution?
I think when there are serious allegations, I think what's important is then there are serious allegations of broadly stated of government abuse of power. Those are very serious for any government, and it's important for a government to, in this case, first of all, ensure that those are taken seriously, and also to ensure that the processes that will look into that enjoy credibility, and to take measures in that. In this regard, I think there is, as you said, a judicial process, and that has its structure and timelines. But there are also other institutions within Macedonia that should or can be involved in this. The Ombudsman has already launched a series of questions. I think his questions need to be answered by state institutions. That he's doing his job, and I think others need to cooperate with that. The State Electoral Commission, the Anti-Corruption Commission, and ultimately I do believe that parliamentary oversight committees can play a role. Those kinds of things have played a role when scandal has hit my country as well. And so I think it is also important that the government, that the opposition, participate. They have a particular role to play in parliamentary oversight, and I hope they are able to do so.
So you were touching now the second part of the crisis, and it is the political resolving of the crisis. You are repeatedly referring that the right place to resolve the crisis in the parliament, which means that you are calling the oppositions to come back into parliament and we should resolve, Macedonia should resolve the crisis inside that institution, but and it's very logical point of view. But from the other side, the opposition boycott the elections immediately after the closing of ballots, and they had their arguments then why they should not participate in the parliament.
Right.
But now they had even more arguments not to come back into that institution. So what kind of process shall we expect? What kind of promises or guarantees the opposition has to gain to come back in the parliament?
Well, I think those are the kinds of things that are likely subject to political negotiation. There are rules of procedure and so forth in Parliament, but I'm sure the opposition would answer those questions and would likely want to have some reassurances that the process will go forward. Again, what I said is it's important that the government take the allegations seriously and also take steps to ensure the credibility of the inquiries or investigations, depending on what it is, as they go forward. I can't say precisely what that will be, but they have to be there, because the credibility of the process, which will lead to letting the people know ultimately what happened, is very important right now.
So my final question will be that there are, let's say, two main suggestions how this crisis should end. One of them is that one of that is that this crisis should be resolved through institutions in Macedonia, the parliament, the judiciary, etc. The other one is coming clearly from the opposition, and they are saying that those institutions has lost their credibility, and they think that this crisis should be resolved by early elections and some kind of expert government which should prepare those elections. Are you thinking in what direction should be the right one?
Ultimately, I'm an American diplomat. These are for questions for Macedonian citizens to decide. That said, I can say as an American that when faced with similar crises, we've had and the need to establish credibility in the investigations or the inquiries going forward. We've had situations that required recusals, reassignments of people involved where there are conflicts of interest, suspensions, and yes, even resignations. Not with a goal to establish guilt or culpability, but just to ensure people that the investigations will go forward in a credible manner. I think what's also important is for Macedonia to reassure its citizens and its international partners of its commitments to the values which undergird the European Union and NATO, the democratic values, and that there are measures that the government can take right now. As I referred earlier to Commission reports, I referred to OSCE reports that could reassure and improve the institutions that Macedonia has worked to build over these 25 years. I don't think those require political negotiations. I don't think good governance should be a matter of political negotiation.
Ambassador Bejli, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For the interview.
And just one last part. I think it's very important also that Macedonia move quickly to resolve this crisis. The rest of the region is moving forward, and it's very important that Macedonia move forward too and not be left behind. It's a very fast and competitive world, and we want to see Macedonia succeed in it.
Thank you again.
Thank you.